Hello everyone. Today we are going to begin chapter number 2, Federalism, from Civics and Social Science. Children, federalism directly refers to the type of governments. It's a system of governance. So let us understand that there could be two types of governments or two type of governance. One is unitary and other one is federal. So let us understand first the unitary form of government. Before I clear you the other features of unitary, just a minute. Before I clear you the other features of unitary, let me tell you that what does unitary simply literally means. Unitary means one. Unitary means single. Okay. So if there is a government, if there is only one government for the entire nation, that would be unitary form of government. Okay. As I told you that unitary form of government is only one single government for the entire nation to deal with all the aspects. Okay. Means government at only one level has all the powers, can pass orders to the state or subordinate governments, can pass orders to the state or subordinate governments, and one thing which is very remarkable to unitary, that it would be comfortable for the small nations only, because when we say governance, it would involve lot much topics of jurisdictions. Okay, if there is only one set of government, it would be difficult to deal with all the aspects. Okay, so if the nation is small, unitary form of government could be dealt better. When we go to federalism, in simple words, federalism refers to the different set of government to deal with the different levels. For example, one government for the entire nation that would deal with the national matters, other set of government for the region specific or the provincial level governments. There could be another level also to deal with the local self issues. Okay, so there would be multi levels, tiers. Sorry. Okay, so government at two levels or more would be the federal form of government. That could be central government, that could be state government, or local self also. Okay, if I say central government, it would be working for the national level issues. Okay, it would be dealing with all those particular topics which should remain uniform at all the regions of the nation. Likewise, state government would be dealing with the state specific issues or the regional issues. Clear? Central government would have power to deal its own for its and it would not be answerable to anyone, whereas state government would be looking into the administration of the local level and all. Now, so there are some countries which are having the unitary form of government. These are all small nations like UK, Italy, Portugal. Likewise, federal form of government is in India, Belgium, South Africa, and Australia. Okay, now we go to the next thing, that is features of federalism. Okay, children, this is very important from the board point of view. Let us understand it. First feature of federalism, that there would be two or more levels of government. Second feature is that each level would have its own jurisdiction. Jurisdiction should be taken as working area. Okay, means each level of government, maybe the national government, maybe the regional government, maybe the local self government, they would have their own working area. What topics they would deal in, that should be specified. Okay, if you want to see a particular federation successful, that shall have this feature, otherwise there will be conflicts. Okay, so each level should have its own jurisdiction, should have its own working area. Okay, and this jurisdiction, if this working area, if this separation of topics is specified in the constitution, that would be very, very good. It would be resolving conflicts between the sets of governments. Next feature is changes in the provisions of constitution require the consent of both the governments. Both the governments means central government also and the provincial government also should give consent if any of the topic is shifted from one particular jurisdiction to the another. Is it okay? Clear? Now the next feature is courts. Judiciary acts as a impartial body or acts as an umpire if any dispute arises between center and states. So children, if I say it in political language, judiciary would be dealing with the federal type of disputes. Federal type of disputes includes the disputes between two states or disputes between a state or a center. A dispute between a state and center would also be a federal type of dispute. Judiciary would be giving its impartial verdict over such issues. Okay, clear? So this is the another feature of the federalism. Next feature of the of a successful federal country would be that sources of revenue are specified. Okay, revenue source directly refers that how these different level of governments would be earning, because without earning they would not be able to work proper way. So that sources of revenue should also be specified by the constitution itself. If I say it in simple language, it means that what kind of taxes they would be able to impose over the public, that should be specified very proper way. Okay, because children, both of the governments, may be the central government and may be the provincial government, they would be dealing with the same subjects. Okay, so whatever the taxes, whatever the duties, whatever the financial functions they are to deal in, that should be specified in the constitution itself. Clear? Now we move to the last and very important feature of the federalism, that is that federalism is having a dual objective. Okay, a dual objective means which is having two sides. That one side of the federalism is to promote the unity of the country. How? Different of the provincial governments would be kept together by the central government. Okay, central government would be working as a connector, as a linchpin, as a thread between the different provincial governments. Okay, so promoting unity would be the first aspect of the federalism. Second aspect would be accommodating the regional diversity. You know, when there has been provided the different provincial governments, they would be ensuring that a region specific issues could be dealt proper way. So in this way regional diversity has been accommodated, and likewise the different states have been accommodated and united too. So such federation would be extremely successful if it happens. Just a minute. Now children, we move to the next very systematic thing, the types of federation. First of all, let me clear you what does we mean to a federation. Federation means a country which is following federalism. Okay, so a country which is following the federalism, that would be referred as federation. So India is federation of 28 states. Okay, now there could be two type of federations. One is coming together and other is holding together. Okay, let us see coming together and holding together both in a comparative way. Children, coming together federations are those federations in which independent states decides on their own that they would come together and form a stronger nation. They would be converting themselves in a bigger nation, in a bigger unit, by leaving their own sovereignty, by sidelining their self-interests and uniting themselves in a bigger nation. They decide to come together. Okay, such type of federations would be called coming together federations. Children in this smaller states decides on their own to come together and to form a bigger unit. They left, they give away their sovereignty on their own. Sovereignty means self decision powers. They leave this for the sake of unity, for the sake of strength. They leave this and they turn themselves from a smaller to a bigger unit. Okay, this is coming together type of federation. The examples of this are USA, Switzerland, Australia, etc. Okay, in all such nations have been the bigger nations of today, but in early times, before they become the nations, earlier they were divided in the number of small states, which decided with the time that they should come together and turn themselves in a bigger nations. Today you can see US is a very powerful country, likewise Switzerland, likewise Australia, who has been emerged out of smaller states. Okay, so such type of federation where the small states decides to convert themselves in a bigger country, come together and leave their sovereignty and turn themselves in a bigger nation, such type of federation would be coming together federation. Children, a very specific feature related with the coming together is that all the states, irrespective of their size, irrespective of their regionality, irrespective of their resources, they would be treated equally. There would be no discrimination when they decide to be part of a nation. All of them would be considered equal way. Is it okay? Clear? Now we move to the next type of federation, that is holding together. Children, it is a little bit different from the coming together. In holding together, what happens? A bigger nation like India, existing nation like India, divides itself in a smaller units, smaller geographical units, namely provinces, different provinces, to accommodate the regional diversity, to accommodate the administration needs, to accommodate the people's genuine desires. A bigger nation decides itself in a number of smaller states, either to accommodate regional diversity or the admin needs or the other kind of requirements. Clear? A large country decides to divide itself in a smaller states, a number of states, as India has done. Is it? Okay. And in such a country, central government, the country for the entire nation, would be very powerful. Clear? Children, India has divided itself into 28 states. Even the creation of the new states is a popular demand, and the movements have been there in the past years. Okay, Telangana has been recently created. The demand for Saurashtra creation, the demand for Harit Pradesh creation, the demand for other states creation has been in the pipeline. Okay. Example of the holding together federation are India, Belgium, Spain, etc. Now I want to let you know the very special feature of holding together is that all the states of a holding together federation would not be treated sometimes in equal way. I am saying sometimes. There could be some regional issues, there could be some demographic issues, there could be some cultural issues. So keeping that in mind, sometimes central government, for the sake of unity of the nation, for the sake of adjusting the diversity, accommodating the regional diversity, sometimes it provides more autonomy to a region specific, to a state specific. For example, the Jammu and Kashmir, which had been enjoying more autonomy than the other states under Article 370 before 2019. Is it? In 2019, it was decided by the central government to remove Article 370 from Jammu Kashmir. Likewise, the same case is with some of the northeastern states of Nagaland, Manipur, Tripura, where even the district council autonomies have been provided to some of the tribes to adjust them, to accommodate them, to make them feel growing, or to make them the part of Indian Federation. Some of the autonomies have been granted. Okay, so I have cleared you the holding together and coming together both. Now we are moving to the next, that is the threefold distribution of legislative power in India. Okay, children, let us clear it. Okay, now it is more clear, right? Just a minute. Children, now we take the example of India. In India, the separate jurisdiction have been mentioned in the constitution itself to avoid any kind of conflict between the different level of the governments. You know, in India there is one government for the entire nation, that is called central government or the national government, or it could also be called union government. Likewise, there are provincial governments which are referred as state governments also. Okay, so to avoid any kind of conflict, constitution itself has specified some of the topics. Constitution itself has provided three kind of lists which guides the union government that what area it is to be deal. Likewise, what area the state governments has to deal, that is to be specified in the list. Okay, likewise there is a list which carries the common subjects on which the union government or the state governments both can make laws. Okay, so let us see that how they are and what subjects they deal in. Let us. This is a specific feature of the Indian federalism. Okay, children, there is one list that is called union list. It is carrying almost 97 to 99 subjects, around 97 to 99 subjects of national importance. Union list, it is carrying almost of national importance, national value subjects. It might be army, defense, it could be of foreign affairs, banking issues, insurance issues, currency, etc. Children, you would see when I was naming all these topics, you would be realizing that almost all these topics have one very unique feature, that is regarding all these issues, laws throughout the nation remain same. Might it be Kashmir, might it be Kerala, might it be Gujarat, might it be Assam, might it be any area, all these issues which I named, these are national importance issues, and laws regarding all these issues would remain same throughout the nation. Clear? So such topics which are of national importance have been put under the union list. It is carrying almost around 97 to 99 subjects. Now we move to the second category of list, that is state list. This is especially region specific. It is carrying region specific issues. Okay, it could be agriculture, it could be marriages, it could be agriculture, it could be some cultural issues. Okay, so state government do have power to make laws over such topics. This list carries around 66 to 62 to 67 subject. Around 62 to 67 subjects have been there in the state list, on which only state governments make laws. And children, regarding these laws, regarding these topics, states do have power to frame the laws. So regarding these particular topics, state to state law may vary. Law may vary regarding the state issues. Some specific issue. For example, I take the measurement of land. Okay, regarding that, in Rajasthan there could be different measurement type of law. In Gujarat it could be different. In Maharashtra it could be something different. Okay, agree. When I define some state specific issue, I said that state may have variation in regarding these laws. Okay, now we move to the third list, that is concurrent. Concurrent list is that list which is having the common topics, which is having, just a minute, sorry, which is having the topics of common interest of both state and center. Okay, it is having almost at present it is having around 47 to 52 subjects, and both central government and the state governments can make laws regarding this. Okay, if any dispute arises, then law made by central government would prevail. Okay, that is final about this. Clear? Okay, we'll do this much only in this video. Rest of the things we'll cover in the next video. Thank you.